Here we have Steve Gaunt. And what do you do, Steve? What is your
Well,
thing
as little
here?
as possible usually, but on this particular occasion, what we have going on behind us is something unique in Croatia, which is cooperation between detectorists, metal detector users, and the archaeologists. We're in the town of Vinkovci in Croatia, and at the moment we're excavating what seems to be a temple site. This is a rescue dig, in other words, they're going to be building there. So there's only a certain period, to the 5th of May, they have to clear the area to get all the finds out and chart down everything that's been found there, the walls and the finds and things like that. My particular job is like the last line of defense. What used to happen is they dig the soil, put it into any old barrel and bung the soil anywhere, and that was it. It was forgotten about. But what we have now is my own little regime, is whenever there's a dig, the land is marked out into sections, and then I make signs for each section, and I only allow the barrows from that section to put their soil there. We do it in a certain way, so it makes a mound like this, and the guys can come up, empty their barrows over. It fans out the soil and it makes it easier to find things. When we find things, we just put them into a bag marked with the same thing. And that has increased finds by something like 9,000%.
9,000%?
Absolutely. 97% of all the finds from this side have been metal detector finds from the spoil.
So on these spoil heaps, you have all the... How do you know what spoil heap belongs to what?
We've got it marked up. It's very simple at the moment. I've just put wooden, because we didn't have anything else, I just put wooden stakes in and then just wrote on with felt tip pen. And we get used to then the boys know which section they're working on, and they come. If they don't know, they know to ask me, and I direct them to where they should dump it. Like you see, this soil is very yellow, that soil's very dark. They come from different sections.
So like if like he's working in B3,
yeah,
he then brings his barrow and sticks it in the B3 place.
You learn it fast, Gary. You learn it fast.
Right, sure. Now I got you. I understand. Well, here we are in the city of Vinkovci in Croatia with Hrvoje Volovic. Have I got it right?
Almost, Vulic, but it's...
Vulic, okay, it's nearly there. And you work for the community and the museum as an archaeologist? Are you head archaeologist or...?
No, I'm head of Roman department.
Head of the Roman department. So, we're here now on a dig that you're doing. Can you tell me a little bit more about this dig, please?
No problem whatsoever. We are placed in northern part of Roman city Colonia Aurelia Cibale, that was here before Vinkovci. We are excavating on 800 square meters, which is fairly large. Primarily Roman stuff that we have found, Roman pits, Roman material, lots of pottery, lots of metal, but the most important and interesting feature that we've found is basically what we believe, and hopefully we'll prove by the end of the excavation, is a temple, Roman temple, most likely dedicated to the supreme Roman gods.
Okay. Do you have any sort of statistics on those the finds rate? Because, I mean, now you're cleaning and checking all the soil. If you weren't using metal detectors before, you must be finding further evidence that has been missed, or?
Yes, it's actually tragic because before we had some average of 30 to 50, 60, maybe 70 coins, depending on the size of the site. But since we started using metal detectors 3 years ago on our archaeological digs in the Vinkovci, for example, last summer we had an excavation in the western part of the city, 150 square meters. From 151 Roman coins found, 30 were found in wheelbarrows or in soil, in situ, and 131 was found with the metal detector. Which means that without it we would have found only these 30 coins. This one is also very interesting because so far, since we're still in process of excavation, we don't have final statistics yet. But we have over 800 coins found so far on this site. And what I can say even now is that about 90%, probably more, are found with the metal detector, which says about 700 pieces are found with metal detector, everything else without it. Oh, wow. So the numbers are really in favor of using metal detectors on archaeological digs. And not to I'm talking just about coins, not to mention everything else. The fibulae, 2 pieces of Roman military diplomas actually, 2 different ones, were also found with the metal detector. That they would have been missed.
In the papers the other day, I saw the national paper that were talking about writing a piece about metal detectorists who were stealing archaeological artifacts and were criminals. How do you associate metal detectors' risk with that, or?
Well, unfortunately, in Croatia, and I think not just in Croatia, but in most of the European world, it is that way. Whoever uses metal detector is automatically a criminal, which is nonsense, to be quite honest. Metal detector is a tool, is a machine. It can be used, as we have proved in our work, to do good, to do excellent stuff, useful scientifically, useful for community, useful for everyone. Or, of course, as any other tool, it can be used to do criminal activities. There are people who use metal detectors for their own gain, who make big holes on archaeological sites, protected and unprotected ones, and who cause real damage to the science, and also to the community. But there are also quite many people who do it out of hobby, out of love, who would like to have their work shown to the world, given to the museum, and that's the kind of people that we like to work with, of course, and we encourage such cooperation throughout Croatia when possible. But we are still in phase of baby steps, because people are very afraid of the metal detector. They don't know how it really works. They have illusions that it can pick up coins on depths of a couple of meters and such, and that you then make gigantic hole to find it, which is all nonsense, of course. So what we're trying to do, first of all, is to explain, first of all, to the archaeological community, the limits of use of metal detector, that it can't be used like that. And second of all, in legislative, in Croatian laws, there are only 2 mentions of metal detectors, and both of them are concerned with private security companies that detect in airports, and one is a rule book about human demining, and that's it. So it's not illegal, but in the view of public and archaeological community, it's completely criminal, which is, as I said before, is nonsense. One of the nicest things about being an archaeologist, one of the nicest parts of our job, is the field surveys. You do it in early spring or late autumn. You walk around the fields, nature, wind. It's beautiful, and you find lovely stuff. We love to do it, but unfortunately, we very rarely get an opportunity to do it more than a couple of days, at most a couple of weeks a year. Which is very little compared to the number of known and unknown sites out there. So that's where you come in, because specifically group that we work with, a group of people, they're all war veterans who are retired now, who have families, who have lots of time, and who love this, and who go outside and can walk for days, and go and do stuff that we just don't have time to do, which is extremely helpful to us, because thanks to work with Steve, Mirko, Domagoj, and other assistants, museum assistants, we've managed to find in last basically 4 years, museum acquired more than 80 new sites that we didn't know of before, which is really large number of sites. So this is one more thing why working with people who are out there is good and useful. And I can only recommend it to all the archaeologists to try to communicate, because they can only gain. Because once again, even if someone with murky and a bit criminal notions finds something and maybe presents it, but what is always important is to know the site.
Yes.
Because one find, even if you lose it, it means nothing if you know about the site. Then you can protect it, you can take care that nothing is taken from there, but you can't find out about it unless you communicate, unless you talk. So that's why it's very important.
Well, I'd like to thank you on behalf of the Hoard hunters for being a pioneer in your field, because that's what you are in this area. You're a pioneer, and I really wish you all the best with it. I thank you that we can be part of it, and thank you.
You're very welcome, and I thank you for your work and the films that you do, because I think only through this kind of opening to the public what you do, what we do, and what we do together, will we be able to show that both, not all archaeologists are conservative, and to be very mild, and not all metal detectorists are criminal, and then we can work together, and when we do work together, we do amazing stuff.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you.
welcome.